The summer attacks disrupted oil refining and exports, which ultimately led to gasoline shortages in some regions of the Russian Federation. Experts believe that Ukraine is raising the stakes in potential peace talks with such actions. Kiev is seeking to challenge the view that Ukraine has already lost the war. Reuters reports. The source writes that attacks by Ukrainian drones on 10 Russian oil refineries disrupted the operation of 17% of Russia's oil refining capacity, about 1.1 million barrels of oil per day. Moreover, the strikes on the refinery came at the peak of seasonal demand for gasoline in Russia among farmers and tourists. Currently, there is a shortage of gasoline in the occupied territories of Ukraine, Crimea, and the Far East. We will survive, but this is a serious blow to our family budget. It is really noticeable, said Svetlana Bazhanova, a resident of occupied Sevastopol. Long lines of cars have formed at petrol stations in the Far East port city of Vladivostok, with local authorities blaming the shortages on the seasonal influx of tourists. The Kremlin is heavily dependent on gas and oil exports, as revenues from their sale account for about 25% of the Russian budget. While the Russian economy is coping with Western sanctions, production growth has slowed, causing concern in the Kremlin. The fire at the refinery in Novoshakhtinsk is still ongoing, and the drones of the Ukrainian Armed Forces have already attacked the Druzhba oil pipeline 3 times in a month. Reuters reports that as a result of the Ukrainian drone strike on the Russian port of Ust-Luga in the Leningrad region, Novatek's largest gas condensate processing complex stopped operations. According to the agency, a fire broke out at the plant that was hit. Part of the production facilities were put out of action. One of the interlocutors said, because of the fire, the entire complex was stopped. It is still unclear when and in what volume processing will resume. The situation at the plant remains unclear. 2 sources reported that 1 processing unit was damaged, while 2 others claim that 2 splitters were damaged. In any case, the entire complex has been shut down. According to Reuters sources, Novatek will be forced to reduce oil supplies abroad. Instead of processed product, the company plans to export stable gas condensate. Previously, about 420,000 tons of oil were exported from this terminal every month. The Ust-Luga complex was commissioned in 2023. Initially, 2 units with a capacity of 3 million tons of raw material processing per year each operated there. In August 2024, Novatek launched a 3rd unit of the same capacity, which allowed it to significantly increase export volumes. This is not the first time the enterprise has come under attack. In January 2024, drones already attacked Novatek's terminal in Ust-Luga, causing a fire and stopping processing for about a month. Work was resumed only in February. The latest attack is yet another sign that Russia's energy infrastructure remains highly vulnerable to drone strikes. A strike on such a large facility, which plays a key role in Russian fuel exports, could cause serious economic damage to Moscow. Russians need to prepare for more complex situations in the airspace when they will have to increase the capabilities of the air defense system. This was stated by the Deputy General Director of the company producing electronic warfare equipment, aviation expert Anatoly Krapchinsky, on the air of Radio NV. In fact, the number of strikes on the territory of the Russian Federation has increased recently, and the strikes are positive because they have consequences for Russia. Logistics are being cut off. Ships that were bringing cargo from Iran, components for the Shaheds are being hit, he said. Recall recently, Ukrainian forces have struck a Russian vessel in the Caspian Sea that was transporting military cargo from Iran, marking the first confirmed loss of its kind. The cargo ship Port Olya 4 was hit in an airstrike by Ukraine's Special Operations Forces. Ship tracking data from marine traffic shows the vessel was off the Iranian coast on August the 1st. By August the 12th, it was en route to Russia, and on August the 14th, it was struck near the port of Olya in the Astrakhan region. Port Olya 4 was used to transport Shahed drone components and ammunition from Iran. It is owned by sanctioned Russian shipping firm MG Flot LLC, formerly Transmorflot LLC, linked to Astrakhan businessman Jamaldin Pashayev. His companies have handled Russian military exports since 2021, signing more than 200 contracts for shipping weapons to various countries. According to Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, Pashayev and his firms are part of the supply chain to sanctioned Alabuga JSC, which manufactures Shahed drones. Anatoly Krapchinsky also recalled the strikes on the plant in Alabuga, which produces the Shahed drones. And against the backdrop of all this, information appears about the emergence of a long-range missile that can carry a ton of payload. What does this mean? That, in principle, the Russians need to prepare for more complex situations in the airspace, where there will be a need to increase the air defense system, he noted. Krapchinsky noted that more air defense systems are now located in the temporarily occupied territory of Ukraine because Russia is afraid of losing parity. It has not yet prepared the possibility of using the Shaheds at short distances. Let's remember that the Donetsk airport, the Kerch airport, are being rebuilt to launch the Shaheds. They are afraid of losing air parity, so that, for example, our planes can fly in, he noted. He also added that the situation is difficult for the enemy, but we must not relax. We need to increase our capabilities and increase the number of types of weapons that we use in order to carry out combined attacks on the territory of the Russian Federation, Krapchinsky emphasized. So Ukraine increases the number of strikes on Russian territory. Russian air defense is collapsing against this background and is unable to prevent all attacks. Recall in the last week alone, the Ukrainian Armed Forces Unmanned Systems Forces have destroyed 2 Russian oil refineries and 2 oil pumping stations. SBS Commander Robert Magyar Brovdi summed up the military operations and noted that after the strike, the oil refinery in Novoshakhtinsk, Rostov region, has been burning for more than 60 hours.